Okay, so then I also started learning about because for example, very shortly after I arrived, my watch battery gave out, so I didn't have time. So I asked the student, where can I get a battery for my watch? And they would look at me. And then later on I realized that actually they know where I can get it, but they don't know how to say that in English, because they have enough English to function academically, but they don't have enough English for lifestyle things. And so that kind of little things that I learned over time. So challenges, other than that, life is a challenge, and I really can't pinpoint and say this was more difficult than that.
But that is quite interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, you presenting at the ICP, and the title is The Utility of the Collage Life Story Dictation Technique. And
it's the collage life story elicitation technique. What I enjoy doing is to integrate research into my teaching. So early on, when I was trying to find an innovative project for the students to do with adolescents, I remember that at Pretoria University I supervised students on the ZMET, the Zaltman metaphor elicitation technique, which we adapted for 2 different projects here. And I thought as well, how can I adapt that into becoming a tool that I can use as a project for the students? So I adapted it and called it collage life story elicitation, because I'm also very intrigued in life stories, narratives. That is for me one of the very first projects that I conducted there was on narrative identities of women and adolescents. So I developed the technique and I kind of explained to the students, and they executed it, because then they could do it in their native language, because narratives are best done in the language that you are comfortable in. So they did the studies, then they could do the literature review and so forth. And gradually that evolved into becoming a very solid tool that I now have a kind of written and published about, and just completed a book chapter that will come out in the handbook for school-based family counseling later, most likely early next year, later this year or early next year.
Will we be able to find it in bookstores?
I hope so, because it is a very useful, the technique is very useful, but the whole concept of school-based family counseling is also very useful in developing environments where it's difficult to access your population for psychological services. So eventually I became involved with the school-based family counseling symposium, which focuses on this kind of, where the model is looking at the child in context, but also with his bigger context of the family and the school, and how these interact in the development of the child. So you see some of my development.
I'm leaving my office in 10 minutes. I'm just coming out of a meeting.